The sun is just beginning to bleed over the skyline, but the light brings no relief. There is a heavy, rusted chain bolted to the concrete block at his feet, pulling tight against his ankle with every shift of his weight. He stares out at the city, convinced he knows why he cannot move. He blames the boss who demands his weekends. He blames the headlines screaming about record inflation. He looks at his own hands, calloused and tired, and assumes the weight is the economy. But then he turns his gaze away from the horizon. He thinks of the smoke-filled pub he visited last night. He remembers the laughter, the haze, and the way the hours dissolved into nothing. He realizes the chain is not made of iron, and the anchor is not the concrete block. The real weight is the group of people he chooses to spend his time with. They are not pulling him forward. They are holding him in place, anchored to a life that has already stopped growing. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do not look at their intentions, look at their results. You are the average of those 5 lives. Sit at that round table in the pub. Watch the beer glasses clink. Listen to the endless, circular talk about the weekend, the complaints about bills, the scrolling through mindless feeds. They are not building empires. They are killing time, and they are doing it with you. Now, shift your focus. Picture a clean desk, a single laptop, a notebook, and a stack of books on finance. No noise, no smoke, just the quiet, sharp edge of progress. The contrast is not just visual, it is a chasm. If your 5 friends are talking about investments, you are learning to grow. If they are talking about the weekend, you are learning to stagnate. Ask yourself the question that matters. Are they helping you build, or are they just helping you pass the time? The phone vibrates on the table. A notification pops up. Drinks tonight. It is a simple message, but it carries the weight of 1,000 lost hours. Your friends are not trying to hurt you. They love you. But their comfort is a slow-acting poison. They do not want you to get rich because your success is a giant, unforgiving mirror. It reflects their own failure back at them, and they cannot stand the sight of it. This is the social tax. It is the hidden cost of staying loyal to people who have no plan to win. Every time you say yes to their invitation, you pay with your future. You trade your ambition for their approval. You trade your growth for their stagnation. They keep you close because your presence validates their choice to stay exactly where they are. You feel the pull of the loyalty you have built over years. But look closer at the cost. It is a trap disguised as affection. When you hesitate to answer that text, you are finally seeing the bars of the cage. You are realizing that their love is the very thing keeping you from the life you are capable of building. You are paying for their comfort with your own potential, and the bill is coming due. Watch a bucket of crabs. When one reaches the rim, the others do not cheer. They reach up with jagged claws and drag it back into the pile. They would rather see the whole group rot than let one escape. Human beings operate on the same primitive instinct. When you suggest a new business idea in the break room, watch their faces. They do not see opportunity. They see a threat to their own status quo. They will call you greedy. They will tell you to be realistic. They will warn you that you have changed, as if growth is a character flaw. This is not about protecting you from risk. It is about protecting themselves from the shame of their own inaction. If you stay broke, they can blame the economy. They can blame the system. But if you break out, they lose their excuse. They need you to stay in the bucket, so they never have to admit they were simply too lazy to climb. The mockery is a weapon designed to keep you small. You stare at the unpaid electricity bill on your desk. The silence in the room is heavy. You are alone, and the pressure to fold is almost physical. Poverty is a virus. It does not just drain your bank account, it infects your mind. It settles into your thoughts like a cold, thick mist that obscures everything. You sit at your table, trying to focus, but the air feels heavy. Words float in your vision like ghosts. Can't afford it. Maybe next month. What is the point? These are not your thoughts, but they have taken root. Watch your circle. If they spend their nights gossiping about others, if they burn 5 hours a day on mindless streams, if they swipe credit cards for drinks they cannot afford, That energy is contagious. It seeps into your pores. You start to believe that barely getting by is the natural state of things. You stop seeing the ceiling and start accepting the floor. Your alertness fades. Your edge dulls. You watch your own expression in the reflection of a dark screen, and you see the glaze of complacency setting in. This is the danger. You are being hypnotized by the average. The pressure is rising. You need an exit strategy before the mist becomes your reality. Here is the brutal truth that no one tells you. Wealth is a lonely pursuit. To reach the top 1%, you must be willing to leave the 99% behind. This is not a metaphor. It is a physical departure. You walk down the street at night, the air crisp and quiet. You pass a window where a game blares, the crowd inside cheering at a screen, unaware of the world outside. You keep walking. You do not stop. You pull out your phone and check your notifications. The numbers are moving. A follower count drops. Then another. It is a sharp, stinging blow, a digital rejection that mirrors the silence of the street. You are becoming the weird one. The one who skips the party to study a new skill. The one who is no longer invited to the group chat because you stopped playing the game. It hurts to see the distance grow. Most people fail because they are more afraid of being alone than they are of being poor. They would rather be broke and popular than rich and misunderstood. You realize that to own the mountain, you must be willing to climb it by yourself. Your day ones might not be your end of a road. You turn your back on the noise and start the ascent. It is time for a social audit. You sit at your desk, the surface clear and cold. You pull out a notebook and write the title in sharp, black ink. You ask yourself 3 questions. Does this person challenge me, or do they only offer comfort? Does this person possess the life I am striving to build? If I lost everything tomorrow, would they help me construct a new foundation, or would they simply join me in the chorus of complaints? You look at a photograph of your inner circle. You do not hesitate. You take your pen and draw a thick, jagged line across their faces. The ink bleeds into the paper, a permanent severance. Your phone vibrates on the desk, a notification lighting up the room. You stare at the screen. The temptation to reply is a physical pull, a habit etched into your nerves. You reach out, but instead of typing, you flip the phone face down. The silence in the room deepens. You pick up a book, open it to the first page, and begin to read. The path ahead is clear. Look into the mirror. What do you see? A person who has stopped apologizing for their ambition. You are not being mean. You are being responsible. You owe it to your future self to be ruthless with who you let into your head. The voices of the past, the ones who called you greedy or told you to be realistic, they are fading into white noise. You realize now that their judgment was never about your potential. It was about their own fear. You stand there, your face calm, your jaw set, eyes locked onto your own reflection. You are the architect of your own reality. Think of the crab in the bucket. For years, you were that creature, clawing at the sides, only to be dragged back by the weight of those who refused to climb. But the cycle ends here. You reach the rim. You feel the cold, hard edge of the bucket beneath your grip. You do not look down. You do not hesitate. You exert every ounce of strength in your frame, push against the rim, and heave yourself over the top. The room behind you is silent, the air still. On the desk, your phone vibrates against the wood, a persistent, rhythmic buzzing. A stream of messages flashes across the screen, demands for your time, invitations to the same old places, questions about why you have gone quiet. You do not look at it. You leave it face down, a relic of a life you have outgrown. You walk toward the door and step out into the early morning. The city is waking up, bathed in a sharp, clean light that cuts through the lingering shadows of the night. You move with a new cadence. Every step is deliberate. In your pocket, the device you carry updates. The numbers on the screen shift, the balance climbing. Moving from zero toward something substantial. It is the physical manifestation of the time you reclaimed. You walk past the street corners where you once wasted hours, past the windows of the pubs that held you hostage, and you do not slow down. The path ahead is wide and open. You have learned the hardest lesson of all. Your circle is your future. You have pruned the dead weight, and now you are finally light enough to fly. The world is no longer a cage. It is a landscape of opportunity. You keep walking, eyes fixed on the horizon, leaving the bucket and the crabs far behind you in the dark. The climb was yours, and the summit is yours to claim. Choose your next circle wisely. See you in the next one.